It's possible that you're teaching English to second language speakers through ESOL classes or maybe in an international cafe and having some great lessons, learning about aspects of British culture and life as well as basic English along the way. But we're coming up to Easter, and you might like to introduce something about Easter itself, about the traditions and about the reasons that Christians believe that Easter is the most important festival in the Christian calendar. So in this short video, I'll show you how we can talk about festivals, take that to tradition, and then talk about Jesus in 3 easy steps. Let's have a look. So here's how we could approach this type of lesson or activity. And what I will say is this is just one way of doing it. There are many other opportunities to introduce Christian material into lessons. This is just potentially one idea. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to start wide and talk about something quite broad. And then we're going to narrow down to look at Jesus. And we're going to do that through 3 steps. So the first step that we would perhaps think about is talking about festivals around the world. If internationals have come from different countries, we could ask them, are there any religious festivals that they have or holidays in their country, and get them to talk about those. And then we could move down to whether they actually celebrate Easter in their country, and if they do, what do they call it? Do they have a different name, or are there similar types of festivals? We could then ask them what they know about Easter, and if they do celebrate it, what are some of the traditions that they have in their countries? Do they have parades? Are there gifts that are given at this time of year? Are special foods cooked? Talk about some of those things and get students sharing. It allows them then to speak about their experiences, share with one another, and feel comfortable in the environment of talking about different types of festival. So that's the broad picture, to get students talking about their environments that they've come from, festivals in their country. Now, I would try to drill down a little bit more and talk about Easter in the West. What do we do to celebrate Easter here? Well, we give Easter eggs quite often. And what we do with them is sometimes we decorate them, we put them in gardens, we go on Easter egg hunts, and the shops there will be full of chocolate eggs around this time of year. So it's very visual. So we could ask questions about what people here in the UK do. And that then helps to bring Easter into our own cultural context. And we can further develop that by bringing in some of those traditions that seem to have grown up around Easter, that if a family have children going to school, they might, find out about the Easter Bunny. Well, what's all that about? And we can maybe talk about some of the traditions, spring being a sign of fertility and new growth. And actually, Easter in this Western celebration has taken on things from pagan festivals. So that's another interesting aspect that talks about the environment that internationals will be living in alongside us. So that's the second point. Now let's move on and just think about the third point. And this allows us then to focus down on why Easter is important to us as Christians. We can tell the story about Jesus at Easter, about that week that led up to Good Friday and Easter Sunday, about his death on the cross, and about his resurrection, his coming back to life on Easter Day. And on the next slide, I've just created a very short text that we could use with internationals to introduce this story if it's new to them. Now, I would recommend doing some pre-teaching of key language here, words like the verb to celebrate, the word resurrection, which is so important to understand, to be able to understand that. So I would be explaining what that means. But this short text gives a very brief outline of what we could do and what we could present. We could then ask questions to make sure students have understood the text. So if you're in more of an ESOL class setting, this could be something like concept or comprehension questions. So when is Easter celebrated? Well, it's celebrated between late March and late May. And is the date of Easter fixed? Well, no, it changes every year. So things like that, and we could ask questions to get, and then we could grade those questions depending on the ability of our learners. So this type of text could be a useful point then to pointing people to Jesus. And the way we could then do that and expand upon it more is to open some questions out to our class and have some table discussion. Questions here like, have you heard this story before, or is it new? What do you think about this? Are you interested in finding out who Jesus was? And that then allows us to think about what the next steps we might take. So it could be to invite people along to a service to find out more, perhaps give them a little booklet, or things like that. So this is just a very easy way of introducing the topic of Easter into our International Cafe and classes. I hope that's helpful. There'll be a link to a blog under this video, and you'll be able to see some of the resources I've used to create it, as well as many other resources that you could use in your classrooms. I really hope that's helpful. Enjoy Easter, enjoy talking about Easter, and please click subscribe below, and then you'll get all of our latest videos from Christian TEFL. Bye for now, and happy Easter.